Words are confusion. Symbols are truth. And silence is golden. This was just something that came to me a while back, and I just want to build on this because I think it's pertinent and important that we talk on this for a moment, even though it's words. But words can bring you into the truth. But oftentimes words are confusion. Language is confusion. Language is division because we're not all speaking the same language. Through a symbol, if everybody has an understanding of the symbol itself, it can be a universal truth. That's the reason the universe speaks to us in symbols, signs and symbols. Now, you look at even like the petroglyphs or the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, that's symbols that elucidated or brought about truths deep in the psyche and deep in the subconscious mind. See, if we don't actually have an understanding of what the symbol actually means, like that's why sigil magic is so powerful, because you're drawing a symbol, right, using language or using words, right, and then that symbol is your own personal symbol or sigil that bypasses the conscious mind and goes straight into the depths of your subconscious mind to unlock whatever it is that you are bringing about or manifesting. Because the conscious mind is that barrier. It's like that guard dog, that watchdog. That's not that it's there to help. It thinks it's there to help, but oftentimes it's keeping you from reaching your treasure, like reaching your own treasure chest, which is buried in your subconscious mind. So the symbols help us to understand or understand universal truths, right? So the symbols help us to do that. And that's why, they talk about primitive language or primitive ways of life, but primitive just means primal or the first. So it's the original forms. We didn't have written languages. Written languages are a bastardization of the primal essence, because there's a time prior to even using symbols, because symbols is a downgrade, or it's moving back from what the original forms of methodologies of communication was, which was telepathic, where a thought could be transmitted, and it can be transmitted because we all are electromagnetic beings, and our thoughts are actual carrying, weight and mass. Our thoughts actually are pulses of light and electricity. And prior to even speaking, that's why the final phase would be silence is golden. Silence is pure. Think about, that's the way that God or source or higher self or the universe can directly communicate and speak to us, is only when we're silent. And that's not just silence in the mouth. That's silencing this thing up here, this mind, this chatter, which I think all of us, especially in the West, that's the biggest battle, is turning off that mind, turning off that brain, that chatter that seems to just always be looping. But to do it, all we do is take it slow and get to spaces like this. This is where we connect with our higher self. And when we get strong enough in that, then we can go anywhere, we can move anywhere, and we can be in the midst of chaos. But our light and our center and our ground is still firm because we're rooted in something real. It's almost like some of these trees that get so deep into the earth, and they're so broad and so expansive and so strong that you're not going to just push it over. You're not just going to push that tree over. Some of these megalithic structures, like, they're cemented, they're rooted, they're strong in their foundation, and that foundation comes from silence. And like, I think a lot of times the ego, our egos can get confused, because when we're on these spiritual paths, the first thing is the ego takes these sacred truths and this sacred knowledge, and it thinks, how can I benefit from it? Like, how can my personality experience or my day-to-day experience in my life benefit from this? And then it can, if we aren't careful, then these experiences can continue just to feed the ego, and then we become prideful, arrogant. And I've fallen into that in the past. You've fallen into that. We all have been there, but we have to be there to recognize it. Or we have to be so wise, because we've been here so many times, that we see it in others, and then we say, okay, well, this is what I would shift and change with my own personal experience, my own personal growth, and my own personal path towards enlightenment, because that's where you're going. That's where you already are. You're just aligning and attuning with that energy. So I'm making it a practice to be still more often, to first quiet my voice. That's the thing that's most easy for us to be able to control. I know for a lot of people it's hard for them to just shh. But for myself and for yourself, that will be the easiest thing to start with, is just closing our mouth, being quiet. The more we silence our mouth, the more we breathe, the more we find times to get off of these devices and just be in places like this, you will notice that the mind will begin to and then we can become more receptive to the symbols. And the symbols are the universe's language, speaking to us, letting us know that we are on the right path, or letting us know that, hey, you veered a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. Let me balance you out. Go this way, don't go that way. Go there, don't go there today. All these things the universe is showing us. And it's showing us through symbols. Then we can get to a point where we're in complete surrender, stillness, while in motion. Where thoughts, we don't have to think any longer. Remember, you've already done all of the work in terms of your co-creation, your co-creator, even though everything's already created. But you've already thought the thoughts, you've already felt the emotions, you've already put it forth what it is that you want for your personal experience and your life to look like on this plane. So once that's done, it's almost like you put all the ingredients in your pasta, whatever it is that you're making. You put all the ingredients in there, and you got to put it in the oven and let it cook. You have to get 425 degrees, preheat the oven, boom, 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 put it in there. Now you set the timer and you walk away, right? You're not gonna, you say it's 30 minutes. You're not gonna open it up every 3 seconds, press on it. Is it ready? And that's oftentimes what we're doing, and our ego is doing to our manifestations. It's done. You already are where you want to be at. You already are everything that you could ever imagine yourself to be, and greater than that. You already are that. It's obvious you're already that. Like, it's obvious that you are already that. There's no doubt about it. Patience, stillness, trust. That's it. Be there. Just be there. A very special medicine woman told me yesterday. She said, with the medicine, you don't even have to do anything. Just show up. Just be there. And that resonated